Hey there, and welcome to part 9 of the IS306 labs, and today I'm giving you a quick introduction of JavaScript. So far we've learned HTML as well as CSS, which was designed to modify the way HTML looks. So today we have JavaScript, which is a scripting language designed to modify the behavior of HTML. So this basically changed the way that HTML works, such as, for example, how a button would actually do something more complex. So you tend to use this to add a bit of logic into the client side of the web page itself. So this is the JavaScript syntax. You can actually declare variables by starting with var and followed by the name. And this is the interesting thing about JavaScript. It's that unlike Java or some other language that you might be familiar with, this doesn't actually require you to define the type. So what I'm saying is that you don't need to say this is a string in order to put in a string. So whatever you put inside will be what's going to be stored inside. So if you put a number, for example, if I say 1, then message will actually become an integer. If you say 1.0, then message will become a double or a float. So that is one of the great things about it. There is no need to state what kind of type this particular variable actually is. And you can also write functions. So here I've written a function called hello world, and so the same thing. You just basically you say this is a function, and you see that's a lot simpler language compared to something else like Java, right? There is no need for you to say what kind of thing is it going to return, the type that's going to return, so on and so forth. And of course the function will also accept parameters as well if you put them inside these brackets. And you also need to make sure that you have a semicolon inside every line. So one of the things about JavaScript is that if you make a mistake, or if an error occurs, for example a syntax error or anything like that, the rest of the JavaScript will not run anymore. So you need to make sure that all of these JavaScript, you have your semicolons where they are, and so on and so forth. If not, if something, if the JavaScript breaks, everything just kind of stops right there. So you can actually add JavaScript inline. So I'm going to just demonstrate that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a button onto this little web page that I've created. So this is a little website that I've designed very quickly using all the techniques that I taught you in the past few videos to build a quick little video website just for all of these videos. And I'm going down into the header right here, and I'm going to be adding a little button. So I'm going to say button, right? And you can actually, there are actually a lot of actions available, or rather there's a lot of events that's actually available to every single HTML tag that allows you to put JavaScript code into it. So if you see all these things with lightning bolt, these are all events. So the one that I'm going to be choosing is on click, right? So I'm going to choose on click, and then I'm going to call let's see, I'm going to call something called alert. And basically what alert does is that it pops out a little pop-up, okay? And then I'm going to say hello, or rather maybe I could say you clicked me. Close it, and then close the bracket, alright, and then semicolon. And then I'm going to close that, and I'm going to say click me. So I could just create a button with that, okay? So the other thing that you want to take note of is whenever you're doing inline, a lot of times you're going to open it with a double quote. So make sure if you ever put any strings inside, do not use the same double quote. So in this case, I use a double quote outside. The inside, I'm going to use a single quote. Alright, so let's just run this on Chrome. Save. And there I have a little button. So if I click on click me right now, it's gonna come up with a JavaScript alert that says you clicked me. So that's kind of how you do things inline. You can also add it in HTML. So basically, either in the head or actually anywhere, you can even put it in the body. And basically what happens is that as the HTML is loading and it starts to read downwards and passes by the script, it will to do whatever that you've actually scripted it to do. So we're just going to do that as well. I'm going to go into the head right here, and I'm going to say script, right, type. This is compulsory, by the way. If not, if not, Microsoft Expression Web is just going to give you all these red curly brackets and red squigglies underneath it to tell you that there's something wrong. And I'm going to say alert again, hello world. Oops, sorry. And close that. And then just gonna preview that again. So this time it's just gonna pop up the alert even before I click on the button. So the moment it starts loading, it will just, there you go, pop up and say hello world, and that's it. So that was how you actually add JavaScript into the HTML file itself. So like I said, HTML is really designed to be manipulating things. So you know, you can actually make things change. For example, this is a little code. This is one particular function. Document is actually an object that refers to the document itself, and it has a lot of functions out there. I'm not going to be teaching you all the functions. The whole idea is to tell you that these functions exist, and you can go down into the W3 Schools JavaScript reference and find all of the available functions and all of the available things that you can use to modify the HTML. So here is just one example. In this particular script, it's going to use the document, and it's going to get a particular element, right? And it's going to go by the ID. Do you remember the ID and classes that we taught you in CSS? So actually these by JavaScript as well. So I'm going to look for an object, a particular ID with vid title, and I'm going to change the contents of it, the inner HTML, to change the title, right? So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to copy this set of code, and let's just take out this particular script right here so it doesn't pop up. And we're going to just change the function within this particular button itself. So I've gone into the button, and I've actually looked for the on-click action, the event, and I've replaced the alert code with the one that I said. So it's going to go to look for the document object and get the element by a particular ID and change the HTML within this particular element itself. And this element is found here. So here is h2 called vid title. So once again, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to preview it on Chrome. And now that it's done loading, so just keep your eye on this particular part. When I click on click me, it should change the words, and there you go. You see that now the word says change the title. So these are some of the things that you can do to make it really work very differently and modify the HTML, modify the way things look, modify the way things react, you know, on the client side. So that's something that's kind of cool. There is an easier way to do all of that though. As you saw right here behind here, this is a lot of code to write just to change the inner HTML, and you need to remember all these things. You plan to write this very often. So you know, there is actually a simpler way to do this, and I'm going to be teaching you how to do that using something called jQuery. Alright, so this video today was to kind of explain to you what does JavaScript do and what is it actually kind of capable of. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you jQuery, which is a sort of library that makes things a lot simpler to use JavaScript to do a lot of really cool stuff. So yeah, that's it for this episode of the IS306 Labs, and again, be sure to send me any questions if you have any, and I'll try my best to answer them. Alright, that's it. Bye.